Welcome to the Radio X Evening Show. My name is Dan O'Connell. Special guests tonight. They are Gene and Ben from Villanelle. Boys, welcome. How are you?
Thanks for having us. Yeah, we're good.
Really good.
Thank you, yeah.
Nice to meet you properly. I mean, I've seen you on stage once, but this is a first proper interaction. I love the new song. We're going to play that very soon. But I just wondered, first of all, can you give us a reference to the band name? Villanelle. Why Villanelle?
Well, you know, it was just sort of a word that that was floating around for a long time when we were sort of thinking of band names. And remember someone sort of said to me once, it was when I first remembered what it actually meant, was it's a stanza for like short poetry or something. And I was like, I just liked the name. I thought it was really pretty. So I was like, slap that on there, look good on a t-shirt.
Also, choosing a band name's just hard.
Was there anything that was rejected, close but rejected?
Not really. It was always sort of Villanelle. It was never, we didn't go through loads of band names.
It was always. I was never that keen on it to begin with, was I? But it's come around. It's one of them, the more you say it, you suddenly start.
You know, the French language is romantic in and of itself, so... let's start with the debut EP then. It finally comes out, Measly Means, May 6th. It's been a while, because I think a lot of people would have seen you first time round on the Definitely Maybe tour for the anniversary, and here we are nearly 2 years later. Is there a reason why it's taken so long to cook this up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was one of them where, because we came out and we had quite a lot of eyes on us straight away, even before the Definitely Maybe tour. It was one of those where we didn't want to rush something just because we had quite a lot of attention at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously comes with amazing benefits, but we wanted to make sure that what we were putting out was good, and it was what we really wanted to do, and that takes a bit of time.
Yeah.
I think for any band that's starting out, you've got to take a bit of time and figure out what you're doing.
Yeah, we didn't want to rush anything. Like, we recorded it a couple times, and it was sort of like, it was our first time recording as a band. It was my first time sort of in the studio doing anything, and I was sort of so alien to all of it. I mean, it was familiar because I'd seen it before, but I'd never actually done it. So it was sort of like, you know, we want to take it step by step and actually get it sounding good rather than just rushing something out.
And I think that's paid off for us, actually, because Gene always said, if I'm happy with what I put out, then that's the fundamental thing. If you're not happy with what you're putting out, and then there's external voices that come into that, I think that's when it can maybe jar you a little bit.
Are you guys good at drowning out the noise? Are you there yet? Because I know, listen, if I was your age, you're there already. Because it's kind of interesting. I was going to say, it's like an added pressure for being so young and finding yourself in an industry that the industry is, let's be honest, you know what I mean? And as you said, with all eyes on you, you know, that double pressure is, it's probably not easy, but you're finding that okay?
Yeah, I find it funny. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's good pressure as well. It's nice to feel like you have something to prove. Having a bit of hunger about that, of trying to prove something. Yeah. It's always good. It's always good.
So before we play the song Placebo, tell us a little bit about this.
Placebo, it's sort of the riff I'd had for ages and just divvying around with it, and it was sort of like, it was quite sort of heavy metal, and, you know, when we first started out, I feel like it might have been a bit bold to sort of, when we first started, you know, like playing through tunes, it was sort of kept it sort of away from all the main songs at first, and then sort of brought it in, and everyone just loved it, and then we just sort of went with it.
Oh, interesting. So in the write-up that I read, you were talking about this kind of idea of post-sesh anxiety.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Because I always think, you know, now we hear all the time now, especially in the media and stuff, that kind of people your age and your generation, you don't drink, you don't party anymore.
No, it's about recording session anxiety. That's what it means.
And here we are, you know what I mean? It's like people living their lives in the way that I suppose, you know, I kind of have a nostalgia for. Do you know what I mean? As a man in his 40s who grew up in the 90s, you know, I kind of like people who are enjoying their lives and being young and kind of going through that stuff. Yeah. So it seems strange to me that sort of there's this idea that, you know, that doesn't really exist for people of your age.
Yeah. No, I feel like it definitely exists in our age. I mean, we're in our sort of mid-20s now, so definitely exists with us. Everyone I sort of know, I don't really know anyone that's sort of, you know,
clean living and drinking green juice.
Yeah, we're not leaving the house sort of thing.
Yeah, you should speak to our bass player. I mean, he's the complete opposite.
Is he? Okay.
The song's about him.
Jack, the song's about you.
In terms of influences, I know lots of people have been talking about Nirvana and kind of the Bleach era Nirvana. For me, it's a little bit Incesticide as well.
Yeah, of course.
Which I loved. And are there other bands that you kind of reference, or other bands that you've drawn inspiration from for this project?
Yeah, I think we're a lot of American bands are the ones that seem to always crop up. A lot of Deftones. There was a lot of Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, that 90s American sort of rock scene is definitely where a lot of our influences lie, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, people always say grunge, but, you know, I love grunge, but I also love all that new metal stuff. Came out of America in the 2000s, like Korn, Limp Bizkit, all them sort of bands, you know.
Gene's thirsty for Dursty. Yeah, although I've got to say, I'm not hearing Limp Bizkit there yet, but
no, I mean, not in that, but they're sort of. I mean, I don't think I'd ever make a song sort of that similar to Limp Bizkit, but I sort of that sort of sound, like, you know, Wes Borland's sort of guitar and all that sort of stuff.
I think it could be time, though. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I did actually say to somebody a couple of weeks ago, there hasn't been that circle yet. I feel like we haven't gone back to that yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there aren't bands.
Do you feel like that's on the way?
Well, it could be. When he said that, I was like, oh, actually, interesting that we could be there soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
History repeats itself. You've got a load of festivals lined up for the summer. Are there any in particular you're looking forward to?
Ooh, there's quite a few. Which ones are you looking forward to?
Let me pick out of all the festivals we're doing.
Do you know what? I think one of them would actually be Boardmasters, because it's going to be right on the coast. I think that's going to be really sweet.
A weekend in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Bit of relaxation.
Yeah, mine would probably be Mad Cool. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, of course you are.
Is that
Mad Cool?
Sometimes I don't know if we're allowed to say what we're doing.
It's hard, isn't it? Sometimes you don't know if you've been announced for stuff. I can confirm you've been announced for Mad Cool and Bonnaroo. So there was plenty out there.
Story yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's been announced, mate. Mad Cool will be great as well. Yeah,
great. It's such a good festival.
To be honest, though, every show this year, it's all going to be amazing. We're just buzzing to be back out playing again.
Have you been to a festival that you really like as an attendee that you'd like to play?
Glastonbury. But you've never been there.
I've never been, and it's always on my bucket list. I've tried for 9 years to go, and I've never been. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to form a band, spend years slodging it around, and then I'll finally get to play it. And
no, we've always said it's definitely easier to play Glastonbury and get a ticket.
At least for me. All Points East is one that I went to. I've been to a couple of years now, and I would absolutely love to play that at some point. Something about playing in London at a London festival would be amazing.
Yeah, same.
I am a big fan of Miles Kane, and we've had him on the show quite a few times. I think he's been on like 3 times in the last 2 years. So he's almost a friend of the show, if you can have a friend of the show in that sense. And I know you guys supported him. How did you find Miles? How did that come about?
It's amazing. I've known Miles for years. You know, he's been around my house like since I was a kid. So, you know, he's been friends with my family and everything. So I've just known him for ages. So it didn't really feel like supporting someone too, like, that you didn't know, sort of thing. You know, I knew him already, so.
And he was such a nice guy. Like, every night he was coming over and having a chat, and he was just like, anything you want from the dressing room, take any bottle you want, like have fun, enjoy yourselves. And he was just proper nice. I'm not actually sure how that came about, whether he'd heard about the band.
I think it must have been like a drunk conversation between him and one of our managers or something.
I think there were probably some drinks involved, sure, But it was a great tour. He was a great guy to be around.
He is. I mean, he is the kind of rock star's rock star. Do you know what I mean? Like, Miles has always been around people and always talked well of and thought highly of, and still remains kind of humble around all those things as well. So it's kind of a nice sort of break. I mean, I guess the Definitely Maybe tour was probably the baptism of fire. Did it feel different in terms of pressure between the Miles Kane tour and Definitely Maybe?
I was more locked in for Miles than Definitely Maybe. Definitely Maybe was I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, I didn't even know what a tour was or like how to do it.
I mean, Definitely Maybe was as far as being thrown into the deep end as you could possibly be. I'd say even now we wouldn't be ready for a tour that big. And
I don't think anyone ever really is.
Yeah, but it was one of those where we were as ready as we could have ever been. But in terms of the Miles tour, we went in with, I think, a lot more conviction, because the EP's done.
Yeah.
We know what we are as a band far more than we ever did on the Definitely Maybe tour. As amazing as that was, but I think we had a lot more purpose on this tour.
Not that it matters what I think at all, but I would say I couldn't tell that was the case. If that's how you felt going out on stage.
Definitely Maybe?
For the Definitely Maybe tour,
I couldn't sleep the night before.
That's great. Oh, we would,
I was like, I didn't, because I was like, what? It was so unknown to me, like, you know.
But see, everything. I thought Gene was absolutely, the first night was in Sheffield. Face. Yeah. I thought he was absolutely fine. And I only found out recently that
I was heavily intoxicated.
I was a nervous wreck before I went on that stage. I
wasn't allowed to feel anything.
But it was almost so big that I didn't even feel nervous, because it was that much of an insane experience that it just, you're almost like, this this cannot be real.
Yeah,
walking out to that many people.
Yeah.
You're also separated from the crowd so much in those sort of like arenas that you just sort of feel like you're in your own bubble.
I've been more nervous for shows where we've played to 50 people.
Yeah.
Sometimes
You can see the whites in their eyes.
Literally, you know, if someone yawns, you can see that.
Yeah. You see the
on a massive
see the uvula.
stage. Yeah.
Boys, listen, thank you so much for coming in. I absolutely love this tune. Is there plans for an album? I'm guessing there is. We've got the first EP. I know we've been patient, and you guys have been, I guess, creatively patient, making sure you put out the right things and the right music and working hard on crafting that. But is there an album coming?
We're back in the studio pretty soon, so take what you will from that, I would say, yeah.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Villanelle.
Come on.
Thank you so much.
Radio X.